Hello, and welcome, chat, to another live stream. This one's a little bit later on during the day. We've been doing evening/morning streams for a little while now, and here we're at night. We haven't done a night stream in a bit. I'm slowly going down because my chair is not locked into place. So let's do that real quick. There we go. Okay, we got Kay first to chat. What's up, Kay? We got Anarchy. What's up? What's up? So this is one of those topics, guys, where I feel like people are just going to come running through the floodgates, right? People are just going to come running through the floodgates with this particular topic because we are talking about the forbidden, the the subject that everyone seems to care the most about, right? And I get it, I understand it, but we are talking about the forbidden time frame. We are talking about the forbidden. How long does it take to retrain your brain? And outside that, I've got anxiety, panic, OCD, all that good stuff. It's all more or less the same. Don't get caught up on terms, but, you know, we've still got to throw that in there in the title. But yes, guys, we are talking about time frames. We are talking about how long does it take. There's several different points that I want to make tonight in the stream when it comes to this topic, and we're going to do just that. We're going to give it a little bit, though, and let some people get in here who want to watch us live. What's up, Clothing, Logan? What's up, guys? B, what's up? Third, you did get third. What's up, dude? All right, let's see here. I'm just writing some notes down that I want to make sure that I cover in this stream. While we wait on some people to get in here. How are you guys doing tonight? Welcome. Kate, what's up, Kate? Welcome. All right. I'm going to send out some notifications real quick on my end. I don't trust that bell. You guys know that. All right. Give that a refresh. Go ahead and get some music ready. Okay. All right. Constantly were to keep going outside over and over again. Will it get better if I keep doing it further? Well, the whole theory behind facing your fears, right? And one thing I want you to understand is it's not just outside or whatever the case may be. The whole theory of facing your fears is that you desensitize to your fears. You quite literally teach your brain that these things are not dangerous. They're not tigers, right? So to answer your question, whether it's a specific fear of this or that, it's all treated the same, right? It's all treated the same. In order to overcome a fear, you got to face that fear. You're allowed to go at your own pace and you're allowed to make your own decisions, right? I'm just letting you know how the brain works. So to answer your question, yes, in a roundabout way, it is about desensitizing your brain. It is about showing your brain through facing these things that they're not real dangers. Now, something I want you to keep in mind, right, whatever you decide to do, that you have to go about it the right way. You can't go and face a fear and be involved in a bunch of negative self-talk. You know, you got to have the accepting inner voice while you face that fear, because if you're going to face the fear, but you're going to be up here with a bunch of negative self-talk and a bunch of crappy, like, you know, behaviors like compulsions and coping methods, you're not really doing anything. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to face those fears, you want to do it with the two main keys, because the two main keys tackles how the brain learns, right? How we doing? Been a minute. What's up, Jod? Has been a minute, dude. How have you been? Been a long time. What's up, Sean? Hope you're doing fantastic. We're getting ready to get started, guys, in just a minute. I wanted to give a little bit of time for people to get in here who want to watch us live, but I think we've got enough people to go ahead and get started, so we might just do that. All right, guys. Tonight we are going to be talking about the forbidden topic of time frames. How long does it take? Everybody has that burning question that burning desire to have that question answered. How long is it going to take me, Wonder Bro? So a few notes that I've got written down. Now, I'm going to start this stream by going out over some things that, from my personal experience and from people that I've worked with, and some things that I found, online from different studies and researches. We're going to go over those things first, because I don't want to have a stream where I say, let's talk about time frames, and then I don't give you anything to go on, right? So I am, right, despite knowing better. Here's a good way to put it. Despite knowing better, gonna have a heart attack one day. Logan, thank you so much, dude, for the $2 tip. I appreciate you. I did not see that coming. Thank you so much for the support and love, dude. Appreciate it. So let's get into it, guys. Weeks to months, right? And I'm going to read something from psychcentral.com, all right? It says, for some, it could be several weeks. For others, it could be months. Now, they're talking about recovery. They're talking about 100% recovery. That doesn't mean that you can't experience some relief, and you will as time goes on with the two main keys. It'll get easier, right? It'll get easier. They're talking about full 100% recovery. It could be several weeks for some. It could be months for others, right? There's no limit. They don't put a limit on that. It just months and months and months, right? It depends. It goes on to say that there may be some truth to 21 days to create a habit, because it takes time to get a new behavior to stick, right? I always recommend that my clients focus on being aware of the behavior or thoughts that they would like to work on, right? So time frame. Let's focus on the time frame there. What do they say? Weeks to months. And if you read Dr. Claire Weeks, or if you've read Dr. Claire Weeks, you'll notice that she references months. At several different points during her books, she brings up months. Now you'll notice there is no specific number on that. It's not 2 months, it's not 3 months, it's not 4 months, right? There's many different factors that go into this, guys. Many different factors that go into this. So I'm going to give some examples. Everywhere you look, from my experience to other people's experience with it, everywhere you look, it's an up and down sort of gradual recovery that could take, again, several weeks to months. But there's always this, it always comes back to this point that we can't put a specific number on that because of so many different variables, right? It's going to come down to, are you dedicated? It's going to come down to, are you using those two main keys? It's going to come down to, are you really using those two main keys? You see how I emphasize that there? Because people do have a funny habit of trying to convince themselves and others that they really are using those two main keys, but yet they're doing the bare minimum throughout their days most of the time, or they're still in their head very negative. So again, on the subject of time frames, it can take weeks to months. You always see references about forming new habits about 21 days in to create a new habit. So I got another reference pulled up that says on average it takes more than 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic, right? That's from jamesclear.com, behavioral psychology. It takes more than 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic. So you see how, one reference says it can take 21 days for something to become a new habit. Another reference says it can take 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic, 66 days to be exact. How long it takes a new habit to form can, and I'm reading this, can vary widely depending on the behavior, the person, and the circumstances, right? In the study, it took anywhere from 18 days to 254 days for people to form a new habit. Are you guys starting to catch on with what we're getting at here? Are you guys starting to catch on with what we're getting at? We can bring up multiple different sources, multiple different references, from studies to psychologists to doctors. We've got one that's on the end of 21 days, and we've got one that's saying 265 days, and we've got one that's saying several weeks, and we've got one that's saying several months. So now maybe you guys have a bit of an understanding why it's really difficult to tackle the subject of time frames. There's so many variables between how hard that person is working at it, what they're really doing, or if they're convincing themselves that they're doing something and they're not actually doing it, right? There's so many variables that go into that. So many pathways, so many fear pathways in the brain. If you want to walk away from this stream with an exact time frame, you're not going to get it. But what you can walk away from this stream with is a better understanding of why it's impossible to give those time frames. And instead of putting yourself on one, understand that for most people, we're in the weeks and months category, which I know does not really nail it down for you as much as you would probably like it to be nailed down. But again, you can tell from all of these different references and sources that I'm reading off of that it's almost impossible to do, right? It's almost impossible to do. So the two keys will always be positive behavior, right? Living your life despite the anxiety not wanting you to. So you're living and behaving and acting as if a person who is already healed, right? As if you are already that person who is already healed, and you are no longer getting into your head with the mental negative self-talk. That is the two keys, right? Again, so many people flooding in and probably will be flooding in to watch this stream to get that time frame. But when we talk about time frames and we talk about how long it takes, and then the reason that I wanted to read those from those references, from those sources, is to convince people, right? Is to convince people that I myself can't give you that time frame. So I know I can hear your disappointment from here. But what I really want you to take away from this stream is that there is so many variables that go into this thing, and as long as you are practicing and dedicating to the two keys, you really don't need a time frame, right? And they're kind of impossible to give. They are kind of impossible to give. So I purposely picked those two different sources there, right? And I'm going to read them again. I purposely picked a source from psychcentral.com, how to train the brain, and I picked a source from jamesclear.com, behavioral psychology, and then I put them two together, and those were the two sources that I decided to read. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, Wonder Bro? I did that to show you how you can get on Google and you can bring up case studies and you can talk to psychologists and you can talk to doctors, and you're going to have one that tells you something completely different than the other. I did that to prove the point that I can't give you a time frame, and you shouldn't put yourself on a time frame, because it could take this long or it could take this long, but they're both normal. That's the point I'm trying to prove tonight with this stream. It could take this long or it could take this long, but they're both normal. They're both normal. Your brain learns at its own pace. A lot of things go into that. Are you using the two main keys? How dedicated are you? How often are you doing that? So many different things go into that it could be this long or this long, but the point is, it doesn't matter because it's normal. So when you get on to the mental sort of obsession about how long it's going to take, understand that you are trying to undertake a very impossible subject. You are trying to undertake a very impossible, stressful, and at the end of the day, pointless subject and topic, because there's just so many opinions and there's so many different studies, and some people, again, it took this long, and other people that long, and at the end of the day, it's normal. Whether you make significant progress and recover in a few weeks, or it takes you a few months to make significant progress and recover, or it takes you 6 months, we don't know. But the point is, we don't know, but we know it's normal. We don't know the time frames, but we know it's normal. We don't know how long it'll take, but we know it's normal. So a lot of people get, caught up on time frames, A, for the obvious reasons. They just want to recover. And B, they want to know, is it normal that it's taking me this long? Is it normal that it's taking me this long? They get caught up on this whole subject of, am I normal because I've been at this for 2 months and I don't feel 100% yet? Am I normal because I've been at this for 2 weeks and I feel so much better? Am I normal because I've been at this for 4 months and I feel like I'm halfway there? We don't know, but we know it is normal, right? So a lot of people carrying around the false belief that there is such a thing as a time frame. A lot of people carrying around the false belief that there is such a thing that they can put themselves on, right, and measure it through weeks and months. And we know that that's just not going to be possible. There's so many different opinions on the subject. All we know is how the brain works and how you can retrain the brain. We don't get into time frames. We don't get into timelines. There's just too many things that we can dissect and discuss when it comes to time frames that we would never be able to cover, and we would never be able to give you an exact answer. So if you're caught up on time frames and you were looking for a time frame tonight from this stream, I don't want to leave you empty-handed. I'll tell you that Dr. Claire Weeks, she brings up months a whole lot. I'll tell you that most sources are going to say weeks to months, and that's really all I can tell you. You're probably disappointed with that answer, aren't you? But I hope you take away my bigger point here. I hope you take away my bigger point, which is that if you're truly using acceptance and you're truly dedicated to those two keys, would you really be spending a whole lot of time in your head with a bunch of mental negative inner chatter about time frames? If you were really using the two main keys, if you were really using acceptance, would you spend a whole lot of time on the topic of time frames? No, you probably wouldn't be. Now, it's okay. It is okay to sit back and think, wow, I'm ready to feel better. That's okay. Don't get stuck on that, but that's okay. It's okay for every now and then for you to sit back and say, I've been at it for this long and I've made this much progress. That's okay. It's okay to contemplate that for a second. But we don't want to get stuck on the subject of time frames. We really don't want to get stuck on the subject of time frames. And I hope maybe this stream tonight kind of prove to you why we don't want to get stuck on the subject of time frames, because we'll never be able to answer that. That's why we don't want to get stuck on that subject, because we'll never be able to tell you exactly, right? Nobody will ever be able to tell you exactly how long it's going to take. There's no way to measure that, there's no way to test that, and there is no definite answer for that. All we know is that through all these different sources and Dr. Claire Weeks and all the books and all the forums and all the psychologists and doctors, all we know is that there's varying answers between weeks and months. That's what we know. Some people say it takes this long to form a new habit. Some people say it takes this long to form a new habit. There is no definite answer to that, right? There's no definite answer to that. So again, we know how the brain works, we know how the brain learns, and we can give you the two main keys and we can set you out and you can do the work and you can make the progress. Whether it takes you 2 weeks, 2 months, or 4 months, we don't know, but we know that if you keep moving forward, this is how the brain learns and you will reap those benefits sooner or later. Okay, we know that you will reap the benefits sooner or later, and it really isn't that all that matters. I know you might be dealing with impatience, I know you might be dealing with frustration, but isn't that really all that matters, guys? At the end of the day, is that you will be making progress and you will be retraining your brain, no matter what pace your brain decides to go at, no matter how many fear pathways you have to overcome, no matter if it takes 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or 4 months. Isn't that all that matters? Is that we are moving forward and we are using those two main keys to help you retrain your brain. At the end of the day, isn't that really all that should concern you, right? So I know it can be frustrating. I wish I could give you a calendar that says on this date, on this month, at this time, if you keep using the two keys, this is your end date, right? But we can't do that. We can't do that. And hopefully you can come to some level of acceptance with that tonight, right? It's all about acceptance at the end of the day. Hopefully tonight you can come to some level of acceptance with the fact that all the questions about time frames are gonna go unanswered, right? I always feel a bit bad about it when people bring up time frames or ask me how long it took for me or how long it took for this person, because I know I know that they're chasing an impossible question. I know that they're chasing a futile, pointless, very stressful question. So I felt like this stream needed to be made to sit people down and kind of say, look, I get it. I know you're frustrated. I know you're ready to recover, but there's no way that we can possibly answer that for you, right? This source is going to tell you this, and this source is going to tell you that. Could be weeks, could be months. There's just no way we can possibly answer for that for you. I feel like there needs to come a point in everyone's journey where they're like, okay, man, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. Fuck it. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. I'm just going to keep using these two keys. I know how my brain learns now, right? I learned the advice. I listened to the videos. I know how my amygdala learns. I'm going to put what I've learned into play, into action, and just go from there. However long it takes, it takes. You really need to come to that point in your recovery instead of getting too caught up on time frames, right? And believe me, guys, if I could get on here and give you an exact, frame, I would happily do that for each and every one of you. There's just, it's not possible. So there needs to come a point where you say, I know how this works. I'm going to just go for it. It'll take as long as it takes, right? A lot of people do get caught up on that. So I just wanted to cover that tonight. I do have a few things written down that I wanted to make sure I said about this topic. Let's see. Depends on a variety of things. We've went over that. Weeks to months is where most people is going to tell you. The last thing that I want to say about this subject is that honestly, you shouldn't be worried about it, right? And I did talk about this briefly a few minutes ago, but honestly, you shouldn't really be doing too much mental conversing with yourself about the subject of time frames if you're truly dedicated to no longer entering into negative mental obsession, right? If you're truly dedicated to that and you're just trying to keep that accepting inner voice, you shouldn't allow yourself to go down too many rabbit holes involving anything, but especially time frames, So the last point I want to make about this topic, guys, is that if you're truly dedicated to those two keys, right? If you're truly dedicated to those two keys, the subject of time frames should start to become irrelevant, right? Notice I said start to become irrelevant. I didn't say it should just all of a sudden become irrelevant. No, it should start to become irrelevant. I know it's going to be important to you at first. I know you're going to get frustrated from time to time, but if you're truly dedicated to those two keys, the subject of time frames should start to become irrelevant. Okay, so we went over several things tonight about that topic. It's always a hard one to talk about, man. If I fumbled around or if it sounded like I didn't know how to get my words out, it's just a difficult subject to cover. It's a very difficult topic to talk about. Time frames, man. They have truly haunted me since the day I started doing videos and streams on anxiety. The subject of time frames has haunted me since day one. It's the hardest question to answer. It's the most impossible question to answer. And I hope maybe, no matter how difficult it was to tackle this stream tonight, I hope I got some good points out there. I hope somebody feels a bit better about this whole time frame thing. I hope some of my words there maybe rang a bell for you. Okay, that's all I can hope for. But the subject of time frames, big ol' X. Big ol' X. It's impossible, man. It's impossible. But anyway, guys, we might have struggled through it, but we got through it. If you did enjoy tonight's stream, please leave a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. We're going to get some music going. We're going to hang out with chat, see what you lovely people are up to. I've already got some music ready to go. I think we got to wait through an ad, though. Who do we still got in here? Let's do a quick roll call. We got Jim. Thanks for these videos and doing what you do. I appreciate you, Jim. Thank you so much, dude, for the kind words. Comparison is a thief of joy. It really is. That's another important point, Kay, is that people do tend to compare themselves to other people, which, again, is difficult because when I've got someone comes into the chat, for example, and I'm noticing two people are going back and forth, and one says to the other, how long did it take you? I'm so glad you're recovered. How long did it take you? And then they have this discussion, and the person says, oh, well, it took me this long, right? And the person receiving that information, they can either freak out about it, or they can be like, yeah, it'll take me that long too. And then if it doesn't, now we're in trouble. Do you see? That's why we can't be so quick to compare, because it can go wrong in many, many different ways when you start to compare. Many different ways can it go wrong. Advice for someone who's a bit of a rut and have no idea what they want. I think I'm overthinking recovery, and now I'm questioning everything about my life. Get up and get living, right? So action is what you need to take. Inaction and dwelling and obsession is what keeps you going in circles, right? So if you want things to become clearer, you get out there and you live. And I don't mean that you got to do, you got to go out and complete your bucket list in one day. I just mean get up and take some action, get back into life. So to sit and ponder and question and obsess in a negative way doesn't make anything any more clear. It just clouds things even more, right? I tended, when I was in, some really sticky stuff, I tended to do the obsession to want to figure it out, right? I think that's what most human beings do. And it seems like the more you try to obsess about something to figure it out, the further away you get from the answer. Show of hands, how many people can agree with that? So my advice to you, if you want these answers to become more clear to you, stop trying to come up with the answer. Just get up, get going. These things will come to you, right? These things will come to you when you stop trying to chase them down and beat them with a ball bat. Does it make sense to practice two different stimuli at the same time, like driving grocery stores? Does it help to practice twice a day? The only thing that's really going to help is not how many times you practice a day doing specific things, but the way that you do them, right, Kenneth? So you could have someone who's forcing themselves to face certain fears, and then you can have another person who's doing the same thing. And let's say person A is going at it with the two main keys. They've got that good mental inner voice, right? They're not fighting with the thoughts and feelings, and they've got those positive behaviors while they're doing these exposures. That person's brain is going to learn far more than the other person's brain who is just saying, man, let's get this over with. I just want to get it over with. Let's do it as quickly as we can, right? And they've got the mental fighting going on the whole time. So it's not so much what you do, Kenneth, it's how you go about it, right? It's how you go about it. There's an excellent little quote by a psychologist that I really love. He gave this line during a lecture where he says, if you're going to send someone to do exposure work and they're worried the whole time and they're worried after, then they're not going to get where they want to go with their recovery, right? So you can't do exposure work and be freaking yourself out mentally the whole time, fuel to the fire and negative behaviors like compulsions and coping methods, and expect your exposure to really pay off, right? That little line from that lecture always stuck with me from that psychologist. Rich Man is here. What's up, Rich? I get these OCD thoughts of facing fears and always have to keep proving that I can face fears and reassure it, but it keeps giving me endless fears. Oh, it will, and that's because you're overthinking them, right? Oh, I gotta fix this fear. I gotta fix this fear. Let whatever thoughts and feelings come and treat it all the same. Don't break it down into such an individual task. Treat it all the same. Whatever irrational thoughts come, whatever feelings come, treat it all with that accepting mindset and inner voice instead of getting into breaking it down. Oh, I got to do this and do. You're stressing yourself out, right? All right, guys, I will be right back. I'm going to get a quick drink. All right, we are back. Let's try to pick up where we left off. Where were we? So the beach is 50 miles away. I've only driven no more than like 5 or 7 miles away. Is it too much to just go for it? Like Monday, you're going to be disappointed, but I never tell people whether they should go for a certain exposure or not. Have you guys caught on to that? I'm sure you've caught on to that by now. I never answer those questions, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you an explanation why I don't answer those questions. It's not because like I'm just trying to be rude about it. It's because I don't know where you're at with the two main keys mentally. I can't get inside of your mind and figure out where you're at with that. So if I was to sit here and say, yeah, dude, go for that 50-mile exposure, and you're not using the two keys, you don't have that accepting inner voice going that you've been practicing, you don't have the positive physical behaviors, right? You don't have those two keys. You're not well experienced with those two keys, and I tell you to just, yeah, man, jump into that 50-mile exposure, and then it doesn't go well for you. That would be very irresponsible of me, right? So I can't make the decision whether you should do that or not do that, but I can tell you that if you're going to do that, you have to have those two keys, right? You have to have those two keys with you. It goes back again to that lecture I was talking about. Rumble! Rumble, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $10 tip. Thank you. Let's see. That puts us at 12 on our 212-day streak. Thank you so much, Rumble. Let's get some purple hearts in the chat. Thank you. Also, a quick something. Let me finish my point first. Big Worm. It comes back to that lecture I was talking about from that psychologist who says if you're going to send someone to do exposure work, but they're worried the whole time, they're not going to get much from their exposure work, right? It comes back to that. And because I don't know where you are with your experience in the 2 main keys, I can't recommend that you do anything that you're not ready for. I don't know if you are or not, right? You have to make that choice. I'm just here to give you the 2 main keys. I'm just here to teach you the 2 main keys. What you do with that information is completely up to you. Anyway, another point that I wanted to make really quick, since we just got a tip here from Rumble, a $10 tip from Rumble. There is actually, believe it or not, this kind of blew my mind a little bit. Believe it or not, there was a couple people who I was reviewing the comments on my channel the other day. There was a couple people. When I say a couple, I mean quite literally 2. There was 2 people who for some reason had a problem with us now celebrating tips. They felt like that was an issue for them, like we shouldn't be celebrating our tips so much. I want to respond to that, right? I want to respond to that in the most mature, professional way possible and tell you to kiss my fucking ass, okay? Jay says, I have recovered by a lot since we last spoke, but lately I've been feeling stuck with an intense amount of fear, which makes me wonder, will all of this go away? So if you ponder that, and if you get too lost on that, instead of just having your accepting statements, you go down what we call the rabbit hole. So you can quite literally be down the rabbit hole, which is mentally trying to problem solve. It's a conversation you have with yourself, and it's negative. You can be down the rabbit hole of, will all of this go away? You can ponder that question for a long time, and the whole time that worry is just freaking the amygdala out. Or you can start to replace that. Even though you don't feel like it, you can work on it. You can start to replace that with an accepting statement. So the thought comes, will this ever go away? And you say, you know what? That's okay. That thought just came. Or you know what? It is what it is. You don't have to get into such a fight with that. And there's a quote by Moji that says, don't get into a street fight with your mind, right? Which is essentially what you're doing. You're going to lose that street fight every time. So if you get into a street fight with the thought of, will this all go away? You're going to be fighting that fight for a long time, right? It's just going to stress you out the whole time you're fighting with that thought. It's just going to stress you out. I highly recommend you replace that with some sort of accepting statement and then turn the attention back to positive living, positive behavior, right? So you're letting these things come, and you're turning the attention back to positive behavior and living while you're using that accepting inner voice, right? All right, let's see. I started July 25th following you. I just wanted to let you know the last few days is dawning on me that I now actually believe in the things I've been doing, not just doing it. Nice, congrats. You go, girl. Yes, Sky. In other terms, I'm noticing I'm confident in these things. Yes, confidence does come. Confidence does come in time, and it's good that you're starting to see that. A lot of people want to jump into recovery with all the confidence in the world, and that's normally not how it works. The confidence comes in time, right? We say if he or she got better in 2 months and I'm at 2.5 months, then I'm not. Exactly. That's why we don't get into the topic of time frames. It's a disaster waiting to happen. It's a disaster waiting to happen. It's such a disaster. The moment you start to follow the 2 keys, you're on the road to recovery, and that's all that matters. Just leave it there, right? Just leave it there. There's so many different things that go into this time frame topic that it's just impossible. Doing so much better, Wonder Bro, but I can't shake the health anxiety. Any tips? The same thing you already know, right? So now what you got to do, because you're doing so much better, you got to take what you already know and apply it to health anxiety too. That's all we're doing, right? That's all we're doing. We're taking what you already know, and that has made you feel already so much better, and we're applying that to health anxiety too, right? My biggest root fear is that fear might stop me, or that I have always have something to lose, or it might cause, well, yeah, it's all those very common fears, right? Like this is going to turn into this or that, or it's all that doom and dread that day is going to come, and then it just never comes. It just never comes. It's just more like a hamster wheel, right? Just more like a hamster wheel, Sean. But the the day of doom is never going to approach. It's not approaching. It's never going to come. It's just a constant cycle of obsession for a day that never arrives, right? I've been getting better to try to get out of the loop, but sometimes I just lose. It happens, dude, and that's why Dr. Clay Weeks love the term practice so much. Love all you great people. We got this. We are the champions. We are the champions. Thank you, Sky, for the positivity tonight, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you, Big Worm, for the purple hearts. FBK! FBK! Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. You know what? I don't even know what... I'm going to be honest. You guys always ask how bad my math is. I'm going to whip out a calculator for 20 plus 12. 32. I thought it was 32, but I wanted to be sure. Thank you so much, FPK. Let's get some purple hearts in the chat. Thank you, thank you. And for those two nasty comments about how I shouldn't celebrate my tips, we're gonna put even more purple hearts in the chat now because of those comments. So thank you so much, FPK. I love you, dude. I'm like 2.5 months in. I'm just now starting to believe, trust, and feel a bit confident. I'm still a disaster, but I'm very patient and enjoying the journey. It's ups and downs, man. It's waves, right? It's waves. Woo-hoo. That's just how it happens, right? But you should be proud of yourself that you're starting to notice more natural confidence, right? That's definitely a good sign that you're heading in the right direction. Hey, Wonder Bro, it's me, Lincoln. I am Donkey now. Well, welcome, dude. You even got the matching profile picture. I love it. My transformation is complete from Abraham Lincoln to the donkey from Shrek. What a transformation. I'm not sure if that's backwards or forwards, but a transformation nonetheless, dude. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you're doing fantastic. Sean says, time frames is basically saying, I don't want to feel this go away. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself, Sean. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Logan, for the purple hearts, man. I appreciate you. Oh, I never turned off my autofocus. Let me do that real quick. Gotta stop taking it so seriously, man. Right? I know people are thinking, what the hell, Wonder Bro? You've always told us to be dedicated. Well, yeah, but that's... Purple hearts, purple hearts. Let's get some purple hearts in the chat from my life. I appreciate you for the $10 tip. Hey, guys. Come on, purple hearts. Spam the purple hearts. Let's piss the people off that don't like us using... It's not that they don't like purple hearts. It's they don't want us to celebrate, right? So let's celebrate even harder. Purple hearts for all of our tippers. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you. Donkey! Donkey, thank you so much, dude. I am behind. I am behind. There we go. There we go. I am so behind. Hold on. Hold on. What is that? What does that take us to? Rich, dude, thank you. That takes us to 52. That is tip goal. That is a 213-day streak. Thank you, guys. Purple hearts, man. Purple hearts in the chat. Donkey, thank you for the purple hearts. Logan, thank you for the purple hearts. The one thing I'm good at is taking days one at a time. I couldn't care less about time frame, honestly. I love it. I love it. And if you're not good at that, learn from Sean and start practicing that, dude, because time frames are irrelevant. Time frames are irrelevant. But thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for the purple hearts. If you're wondering why I'm like so fidgety tonight, it's because I ate like a whole cheesecake and then like 3 of these already. So I'm fucking hyped, dude. I'm on a sugar high right now. I'm sure I'll crash in about 15 minutes, but let's enjoy it while it lasts. That is tip goal, guys. We're moving on to a 213-day streak. We're at 52. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you don't like us celebrating tips, it looks like you'll just have to kiss my ass, because we're going to continue to celebrate tips, because we should always celebrate tips and show all the love in the world to our tippers. So thank you guys so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right, guys, let's see. We are 40 minutes into the stream. So if you've got any questions, comments, go ahead and make them now. Go ahead and make them now. Go ahead and make them now. YouTube has done this new thing that I can't subscribe to you because I have too many subscriptions. That's weird. That is kind of sad. You can't subscribe to you because I have too many subscriptions compared to my subscribers. That is so stupid if that's a thing. That is so stupid. That's really going to hurt YouTubers. All YouTubers, not just small YouTubers. That's going to hurt all YouTubers if that is true. And I hope maybe they fix that. Hey, Water Bros, sometimes I find myself trying to figure out if they're just horrible or if they're just intrusive thoughts or my worry, second fear. Should I just focus on the accepting inner voice? Yes. You don't want to try to break it down too much, Julian, because that's what you've been trying up until that point is problem solving, right? And that's what we don't want to do because worry equals danger to the amygdala. So you just want to accept what comes. You don't have to break it down into, does it mean this? Does it mean that? You don't have to get into that. That's just worry in disguise. That's just worry in disguise. Absolutely, Donkey. Absolutely. That's just problem solving in disguise, right, Julian? And I think you already know that. I think you're already aware of that. Wonder Bro, I've elected to do an additional shift at the other place I used to work. Hold on, sorry. Phone's going off. You know, Tower of Fear, the place I burn out. Hey, man, if you're ready and willing to do that with those 2 main keys in your pockets, congrats, dude. We've got your back. The videos where we touched on like present moment living, those are beautiful videos and I will always keep them up, Sean. The reason I don't touch a whole lot on that subject nowadays is because I notice that most people overcomplicate it and get confused and even scared over those videos and certain terms that I might use in those videos. That's why I don't, do that. But I'll leave those videos up. I'll leave them up for the people who do enjoy them. But it's all the same concept at the end of the day, right? The 2 main keys. How do I get over the issue of worrying about physical symptoms coming back, and how do you use acceptance towards real life issues? Well, again, Mindy, they're not real life issues, right? You've already went and I think you had tests done and you got an all clear. So I told you, I warned you. I said, even if you do this, you've still got to make new habits, right? I did warn you of that. You can't say I didn't warn you. I said, hey, I'm so glad you're going and getting checked out. But when you get that all clear, we've still got a habit to break, and that's obsession and worry. You got to come up with that accepting inner voice, right? They're not real life issues. You don't actually have any real life issues. We've already got that covered. A real life issue would be, Wonder Bro, how do I accept the worry about, I don't know, I'm getting evicted or something? That's a real life issue, right? To call your health anxiety a real life issue is not a real life issue. I know what you're getting at. You're worried that a real life issue might happen, but it's not currently happening. So we've got to get you into the habit of using that accepting inner voice and those positive behaviors. When those thoughts are there that, oh, something bad's going to happen with my physical health, you got to get up and go do the dishes. And while you're doing the dishes, you got to tell yourself it's okay that that thought is there. It is what it is. Whatever you want to tell yourself, you got to get active. You got to get productive. You got to prove to the brain, hey, this thought's popping off about my health, right? About some what if about my health, and I'm full of anxiety, but I'm going to get up and have a productive day anyway. That's how you prove to the brain that you're taking action and that these thoughts are not real tigers. So we've got to get you into those habits, right? And we absolutely can. You are 100% capable. But understand that you're no different than anyone else here. Just because you have what ifs about your physical health, that's no different than anybody else in this chat right now having what ifs about anything, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you are capable, you are strong, and you absolutely can do this, but we got to get you up, moving, active, productive, right? So the anxiety is roaring, right? Your anxiety is roaring, but you're doing it anyway. I only passed my EKG, but he's doing more tests. Well, I'll put it to you like this. You've passed the only test you've had right now, but no matter the results of said other tests, it's always going to come back to the advice I just gave you, right? No matter what, right? The only difference is, let's say there's something wrong, you might get on a new medication that you have to take for your health, but we're still going to come back to the 2 main keys as far as your anxiety is concerned. So the answer doesn't change depending on the results, right? It's still not, it's never going to change. So keep that in mind, Mindy. Don't let Don't let these variables that you made up stop you from getting active, getting productive, positive behaviors. Live life like you're already healed, right? So the anxiety's roaring, but you're kicking today's ass with these positive behaviors, right? And while you're doing that, you've got the accepting inner voice. You're not fighting with any thoughts or feelings, just that accepting, you know what? False alarm, it is what it is, and you're doing those positive behaviors. So the advice will not change, Mindy, no matter what those test results say. As far as anxiety is concerned, we will come back to the same point again and again, right? Let's see. Halloween cupcake brownies. So Rich is giving us a recipe here. Make up a brownie mix. See, my problem with that is I eat way too much of the brownie mix. Who else grabs a big old cooking spoon and just digs into the brownie mix? Am I the only one? I can't be the only one. Spoonful in each cupcake pan. Use Halloween liners. Nice. Put a Halloween Reese's cup on the batter. Oof. It will sound so good. I do get a sweet tooth from time to time. Nothing crazy, but I had one today. That was for sure. Let's see. Thank you. Absolutely, Mindy. Nothing but love to you. Nothing but love to you. I'm going to skip around the comments a little bit. I've had something planned for the past month now, and now that tomorrow is the day, I'm nervous and keep wanting to worry. Just keep reminding myself I can handle whatever comes my way. You absolutely can. There's absolutely nothing that can stop you as far as anxiety is concerned. There's absolutely nothing that can stop you as far as anxiety is concerned. Not symptoms, not fear. You are in control of what you tell yourself, and you are in control of whether you fight those feelings and thoughts, right? And you are in control of your behaviors. You're in control of the two things that are going to teach your brain that you are okay, and that's your behaviors and what you tell yourself about the thoughts and feelings. So, 2 thumbs up for Kate. You got this. Truly educated, anxiety disorders. Last few streams, and this one is blowing my mind. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you. Logan says anxiety after waking up from short naps. Any way to overcome that? So it comes back to acceptance. I know it sounds like I'm a broken record, but really, man, it doesn't matter if you're just waking up from a nap and you've got anxiety or morning anxiety. It doesn't matter when this anxiety junk hits you. You know, if it's feelings and thoughts, it's always going to come down to what you tell yourself about those feelings and thoughts, or if you fight with them. I don't recommend that. And positive behaviors. So get up from your nap. Get right back into living. Get right back into the accepting inner voice. You got this. You got this. All right, ladies and gents. We're getting closer and closer to that 1 hour mark. So please get your questions in now if you have them. Thank you again, Remy, for the kind words. And Kate, you got this, man. We got your back. We got your back. Let's see. I'm digging into my treats over here. You know we gotta have some of the off-brand graham crackers with the name brand peanut butter. What a combination. The off-brand graham crackers and the name brand peanut butter. They're so good together. I've had way too much sugar. I don't need another Sprite. May not even understand how priceless these streams are. Could go into more detail. Just trust me. Thank you for that, Remy. I appreciate you. Thank you. Kate, is that a deer print on your neck? I believe Kate's got a deer print tattoo. I think it's on her chest. Why am I getting a freeze warning? Is it really supposed to get that cold? We're under a freeze watch? What? Freeze watch remains in effect from late Saturday night through Sunday, so all weekend really. Sub-freezing temperatures as low as 30? Interesting. Near freezing temperatures are expected to get in late Sunday night and Monday morning. 2 back-to-back nights with frost and or freezing temperatures may end the growing season. The growing season's been over for me. That's just wild. It's supposed to get that cold. That's just wild. I wish your channel could grow as much as possible. The message needs to get globally out there. All we can do is show up, right? All we can do is I show up, I do the streams, I be myself, and if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, right? That's all we can do. I show up, give my message, and hope that people want to stick around. Regrettably. You don't like the deer track anymore? I've got regrettable tattoos. It's okay. It happens, right? There's nothing we could do about it. That's for sure. Can you believe that, Sean? Can you believe that there is people out there that don't like me? Can you believe that? I be damned. Darn it. Can you believe it? Alright, guys. We are nearing our 1 hour. Our 1 hour mark. I don't like any of them. But one, you don't like any of your tattoos, period? Like none of them, except for one of them. The Majora's Mask, right? We are nearing that 1 hour mark, guys. We're going to go ahead and start to wrap it up here. Wait a minute. We got another comment from Remy. I'll just say I've spent well over 8 to 10 grand over the past 20 years, and Wonder Bros helped me better and more in 2.5 months. I wish I could pin that comment or something. That is so sweet and nice of you. Thank you. I wish I could pin that. I don't think that's possible. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. But anyway, guys, yes, we are going to wrap it up here. I love you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the comments, the thumbs up, the tips. Thank you for everything, guys. And until next time, I believe that's all we have to say. Stay awesome. Love ya.